Last time I saw you, like, I'll start off with the serious questions. We're here at spring training. Last time I saw you was after Game 7 of the World Series. What was your off season like? Like, how long did it take you to process, move on, and then immediately start thinking of spring training?
Um, so for me, it was different because I didn't have an off season the year before with the shoulder thing. So obviously, being able to be home, kind of being able to enjoy just kind of just the rest part of it, and kind of just clearing my mind. Spent a lot of time in the woods, as I think a lot of fans know. But I enjoyed being outside, so I was in my tree stand for the first 3 weeks and was able to kind of like process everything and kind of move on a little bit. But it was just more of like getting my mind right, getting my body back to normal, and kind of feeling like just normal again. As good as I can be with the shoulder, but it was an interesting off season. Obviously, being a dad for the first time and going through all that stuff, and a lot of learning curves, obviously, but it was enjoyable.
I will already fast forward to the off season that's after this season when you become a free agent. These are the only two times I'm going to ask you about contract and whatever happened last season. You know this because other than that, it's shenanigans all season. The contract, I think you know Jay's Nation, love you, you fit in well. I know you're not going to be part of those conversations. Just how are you going to be able to compartmentalize this all season? Because you know people aside from me are going to start peppering you with questions, but also what are your hopes for you?
I mean, obviously they do a really good job here of treating families super well, and obviously that's a really different thing that a lot of organizations don't do. So obviously me and my family love it here. But obviously like whatever happens happens. It's just one of those things where getting traded over here was a blessing because I've learned a lot about myself and understanding what it's like to be a big leaguer and find some really good guys in George Springer, Vladdy. I mean, Bo is over here. He's a great teammate. And like Chappie, there was so many great people that have came through here that I've met and have lifelong friends. So obviously, like when Bassett left, it kind of crushed me a little bit because it's like I've loved him like a brother. And it was like, it's one of those things where obviously if it happens and we get an extension worked out, great. But obviously, it's one of those things where it's a business and you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt.
When we talk about this business and Bassett, there has been some adjustments to the lineups. There's been some new signings, and like you mentioned about spring training last year, you're recovering from surgery. What's it been like for you to come into spring training for the most part feeling pretty good? Just and then the outlook for surrounding this team. There is so much optimism surrounding you guys.
Yeah, I think everybody learned and grew last year together of having another year in the big leagues. But obviously, it's like, okay, more guys got to step up without Bo in the lineup. And so there's going to be some bigger roles of Himi playing short and Ernie playing second and the new acquisition of Akamoto. So obviously, there's some holes to fill in that lineup. And but I think we're all ready to kind of take it head on. Um, we're a team that trusts each other one after another, and knowing that that's our mo and that's how we win a lot of ball games. So we kind of got to roll with that, knowing that all right, yeah, we might go through a rough stretch like we did last year. It's just how do you get out of it, and are you able to get out of it? So I think that was a really good kind of learning curve for a lot of guys last year of knowing that hey, there's gonna be some tough times, and it's like okay, how can you just be the best teammate, be the best kind of person, and try to get us kind of back on track.
Great. Those are the questions, the fans want to hear, all that stuff. But you know what I want to ask you about. Spring training every year, fantasy football. Last year we saw Bassett have to be the bat boy. Who lost and who could potentially, I don't know what they're doing if they lose, be a bat boy again.
Kevin Gosman lost this year, so it's actually different this year than every other year. It wasn't about like the regular season losses. So out of the 12 teams, 8 teams made it to the playoffs. 4 teams were in what is called the Butt Bowl, that we kind of named it. But it was like one of those things. Whoever lost in that actually lost the fantasy football season, and so it was between actually Chris Bassett again with David Schneider. They were a pair versus Kevin Gosman, and I think Gauzy forgot to set his lineup, so he got absolutely whacked. So it wasn't even close.
Awesome,
Um,
though.
but yeah, it's not going to be Bat Boy this year. It's possible a different punishment or a monetary value to get out of the punishment because it's a little bit harsher this year than in the past.
Ooh, TBD. We look forward to seeing whatever he does, whatever he has to pick. I love that he probably forgot to set his lineup. Are you going to be the commish of the fantasy football? Has that been decided? Are they forcing you to? You're too nice. You are.
I know. I think I'm going to pass it off to Shane. To be honest, I can't do it anymore. I can't deal with these hooligans.
What are some of the complaints and stuff that you get as commish?
It's just so many different roles, like not roles and rules. It's more rules that people complain about. Um, but I think, yeah, I'm defeated in this commissioner. Tim Mason was the same way, and I feel for him now.
What I'm so excited to speak to you about today is your amazing acting.
I love this house. I love that I taught my kids to ride their bikes in the driveway. I love that I slept with them in tents in the backyard. I love that we carved our initials in the tree out front.
I believe the line is like, "This is my crib. You have a great sponsorship." Getting to know you over the years. I know that probably wasn't like the most exciting part of your day, but how do you feel about your acting in those lovely clips on socials?
Oh, they're all right. I wouldn't say that I'm great at it, but it was enjoyable. They were really good people to work with, and they actually made it super easy for me for the most part. I got one more I have to send out, so it'll be coming soon.
How many takes?
It actually wasn't long. They set 4 hours for the whole thing to do, so I had 8 different things I had to do with them, and I got it done in an hour and a half.
Give him an Oscar, people, but don't make him commish to the fantasy football team.
Please no.